Hey, it's Jose Galison. You're watching No Way Jose. You can find me on the No Way Jose YouTube channel, all major audio podcatchers and Odyssey as well. Today, my guest is Uncle Hotep. No specific topic today, just kind of shooting the shit, having fun. So it should be a fun one. I do want to let you guys know how this works. This one is paywalled. So I know I've done a few more of the live stream ones recently with current events and the Four Pony Boys. But this one's behind the paywall. It'll go up public about a week later. But if you want to have access to the Patreon only live streams, it's or just to be able to view it early. Roughly a week or so. Like I said, patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. Lowest level's $2, highest level's 22. Gets you the access to do all that. There's different levels of stuff you get throughout. The 20 is a sponsor level. My sponsors, I'm Mikkel Thorpe of the Expat Money Show. Jeremy has an Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/raising liberty. Follow on Twitter at Jeremy Rhymes. Then Toad, who's my co-host on Tower Gang, which, as I always remind you guys, is an offensive comedy show. So if you expect to be getting what you get here on there, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And if you tell me you're offended, I don't care. But you can follow my buddy Toad at Tower Gang Toad. You can also obviously find the podcast Tower Gang on YouTube, Rumble, all the other audio podcasts. We do well on Spotify for some weird-ass reason. Also, Zach Overacker. At ZOVERACK if you follow him on Twitter. Also, I do want to let you guys know, TopLobsta.com. Use Jose at checkout for 10% off so you can get my merch. You can get that Yeeky shirt. Terrence Yeeky didn't kill himself. I'm hoping to maybe soon to get him to make like a Kenneth Trinidu didn't kill himself shirt, but we're working on that. We'll get there. But yeah, definitely go get that merch. There's other show merch, other stuff that's not even like show stuff, other different types of merch. Holly suggests that I love TopLobsta. He's my dude. He's actually a dude who does Hotep stuff. So it's be pretty dope. All right, let's get Uncle Hotep in here. Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, dude? That is one thing we have in common. We both have the same thumbnail guy. Yeah. So
Hey, no, I seen you had that Thor, that Betty Ray Bill. Is that the actual? Is that just the cover, or is that the actual issue? The Betty Ray Bill Thor.
It's just they're like little art pieces. I mean, they are like
okay. Yeah.
Obviously, it is a classic comic, but it's like it's not the actual comic. That'd be if I had a wall of those comics, that'd be fucking dope. Like just the actual comic stuff, because those are all like classics for those who know. So.
Yeah. That was a Walt Simonson run. That was a classic run he had.
Yeah. I do like the look back there. I do get a lot of people like, "Ooh, look how fancy!" And I'm like, "Yeah, this was just like a poster board shit." I don't know. I was really into comics a few years ago. I still like comics. I just don't as much. I diverted my obsessive, compulsions to what you see before you right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I guess real quick for my audience who aren't familiar with you, I guess the Hotep Nation, all that. I don't know if you want to let them know who you are, what you're about, and all that, and we'll just kind of get into shooting shit.
I'm just one half of the Hotep's Been Told You podcast, just a black man from Exeter, Pennsylvania, what I mean, just regular guy. Um, I started doing, YouTube stuff like '04 or something like that. My aim was, just to have talk about things. And, I had a daughter born like before then, and I wanted her to like be able to go back and listen, like we created like a virtual time capsule and stuff like that. Then, the election came, and then I don't know, somehow I got some heat, got some people behind me or whatever, established a community or so. Then me and Hotep Jesus started a podcast, and I think we're at episode 248 or we're almost at 250 episodes. So I've been doing it. We were doing it a while. We had Hotep Con. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not trying to be an influence or anything. I just want to give my takes to the world. Like, that's all.
Yeah, I know. It seems one of your big things is like fatherhood. How old are you? How old are your kids? You have two daughters too. I have two
I got
daughters.
1, 9, and 1 is about to be 5.
Shit, I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, both
Oh,
girls.
wow.
Yeah, you're in for some fun times, but yeah.
I can start to see that. I started a little bit late, but I mean, I have no regrets or anything like that. But it's really interesting. I'm glad I did it. Man, actually, I'm glad I waited. Because I don't know, I'm probably a little wiser now than I would have been if I had them earlier. So it's all good. There's give and takes when having kids at any age, so it doesn't matter really.
Yeah, I think having my kids younger to some extent probably caused me in a certain way to get, I don't know, see things a little bit more straight. I guess caused me to mature a little bit earlier in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, I can obviously you can play it either way. I don't really. I mean, shit. I'm 31, about to be 32 in June. So my oldest is 13. So I was right out the gate. So
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, I'm not at all suggesting people do that. It's not smart, but it kind of forced me to get my shit together pretty quickly. So I think it caused me to mature a little bit more than people, the other people in their 20s. That, I mean, shit. Yeah, no, it's like me being 31 with a 13-year-old. It is weird because it's almost like I have like old man energy.
Yeah.
It gets to me. But it's actually funny. The biggest reason I wanted to have you on is I saw you were really, really all about the Yiki stuff, which
Yeah.
Yiki for me is a character that really kind of fucked me up when I found out about him. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this guy, like, everything I looked into, like, I guess, like, the more I looked, I did find that it seemed to be there's some sort of domestic abuse stuff with his ex-wife, although it seems to be pretty scarce, whether what was there. So I don't know, how shit can get, like,
Right.
between, like, separating and stuff. Accusations can be made. I don't know what the truth is there. But everything it seems to be he was a good guy. Even that, the ex-wife that he had issues with, she, like, at the end was still vying for him and seemed to love him. They seemed to be getting back together. So, like, he just genuinely seems like a good dude. He, like, was trying to do the right thing and got, like, super fucked. And I don't know. I guess that's just what kind of makes him such a sympathetic character. Like, I don't know. I in some ways I see him and, like, me and him. I also see, like, weirdly he looks a lot like one of my best friends. So it's like, I guess that kind of fucked me up too. But that, and he had two daughters as well, and he, like, so he reminded me of, like, me in my late 20s, early 30s. Kind of deal. Like, oh shit, because I was active duty military for 11 years too. So that kind of, like, I guess in a certain way, I kind of felt this, like, kinship, and it just kind of fucked me up. Like, oh, here's a dude who got caught up in the system, then tried to do the right thing in a system that was fucking him. And, the system, chewed him up and spit him out. And the fact that his name wasn't a household name kind of irritated me. I mean, maybe household's putting a little bit high, but the fact that I was astonished to learn about him, like, this is something I should have already known. You know what I mean? Whenever I did learn about him, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Man, like I just want to go back to the whole OKC thing. It must have been the Obama era.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was reading on the internet, like, after it happened. I read some stuff, people, like, mostly about the Ryder truck and what that explosive could do or could not do.
It was 95, so I think it was Clinton. I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But what I'm
Okay,
talking
you were you when you when you. Okay, I got you. I was just making sure. I just want to just check. But go on.
Yeah. But originally after it happened, when I found out there was no federal agents in the building that day, I'm like, oh, come on. But I never really thought anything of it. Then I read some stuff and I was like, wow. Then I seen The Noble Lie, right? That documentary. That it was it was one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. And this was like, I don't know, this was like towards the end of the Obama administration or whatever. Yeah, then it got to, when it got to Yankees part, I'm like, what? You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? It's like, he tried to do the right thing, and it saddened me that he saw something that he didn't think jived to what the official story was going on, and they did him in. Let's be honest, like, and that's not the only person they did in for that day. Everybody was saying he's a nice guy and everything like this. I think he got a medal for
Yeah.
did he save people that day or something like that?
He was one of the first responders, if not the first responder. I've heard multiple people claim first, like as in the literal first, but he was at least one of the first. And he saved, I think, at least 4 people that day. He actually injured himself while he fell, I think, through like the second floor, kind of like through rubble, trying to, save people, and fell through and hurt his back, ended up in the hospital. That's where the famous line, he goes, Tanya, it's not what they're telling you. Which, anyone who, I guess, his father has heard that clip from his ex-wife saying that.
Yeah.
That's like, he says that to her when she picks him up from the hospital, because he rushed to get out of the hospital too, because he seemed to be in a hurry to get out of there, because I guess they were already bugging him about it, like what his story was and stuff there. So yeah, it's wild shit.
Yeah, I mean, just watching that documentary, and if anybody hasn't watched, I'm sure the people that don't watch your show, or maybe some that haven't. And if you haven't seen it, that's like like anybody asks me, like, what's a good documentary? What's good? I always tell them that's the first one I tell them, because it's well done. It doesn't like go off into some weird conspiracies or anything like that. It just shows you the facts, and what did he have? Cuts all over his arms, both sides of his neck, beaten and everything. But he killed himself. That's what they say. It was just sad. It's just like, but to your point, he wasn't well known, and fast forward to today, and, I started to see, I don't know. Hey, if you're the person to take credit for it, to give credit for it, I'm glad. Thank you for that, because
the CNN thing, yeah,
his name does need to be out there more, because even in the let's say like the conspiracy side of the internet, his name isn't really out there. You know what I mean? Trinidu's how do you say his name? Trinidu?
Kenneth Trinidu, yeah.
Trinidu.
Yeah, Kenneth is the one who died, and his brother Jesse is the one who's like gotten the majority of like documents from the government and stuff through like over 20 years of fighting this shit because of his brother being killed.
Yeah. Jesse Trinidu is not, his name is not out there. And I think those two people like need to get more attention, because one paid the price for trying to tell the truth, and one is trying to get the truth for his brother. When I watched that, because when I watched that documentary, I was really struck by, I was struck by Yankees, Officer Yankees' story, but Jesse's story was like I can't believe it. Like, they whacked his brother because they thought he was somebody else. And just from Jesse's story, like when he said, I think he said in the documentary, he just wanted to find justice for his brother. For every lead he came with led back to OKC. Like, he wasn't in trying to find out anything about Oklahoma City. Like, he didn't really care about any of it. He was just trying to find justice for his brother. But every lead he got led back to OKC. And he struck me as a smart guy. I try to keep up with the case. Like, I think I thought they were supposed to have something, a ruling on FOI request,
Yep.
FOIA request. Was it 2 years ago?
Yep.
A year ago?
I don't know if there was one in the last year or two, but he did just in the past few months. He got out of court, but they're still waiting for a ruling. So literally any day now, there could be a flood of FOIA documents come, or I guess I believe he could be granted discovery, which will allow them to essentially go get it themselves, which like that would be a fucking gold mine because he has a team and a team of researchers who have been looking this forever, so they already like know what they want to go get if they get a chance to be like, all right, we got to go to the warehouse or whatever the hell the place is, or the files they get to peruse to be able to pull what they think applies to them. Yeah, it is wild. So I mean, maybe nothing can happen too. I don't know. Either way, it's still a story I think that needs to be known. Just I mean, yeah, there's a presentation that I watched in preparation for my series when I was specifically covering the Trinidu thing, and Jesse gave this presentation, and that was one thing. God, no, oh, I forgot. I lost my point for a minute. I got it back. He himself admitted that like there will never be prosecutions for this, but what I can do is I can harm their reputation. And I guess the way he puts, I guess you could make the case that's just vindictive, and yeah, sure, it kind of is. But I also think it's a good thing. I think people like their reputation should be shot. Like the fact anyone looks at any of these three-letter organizations with any sort of reverence is just silly, especially if you understand the history of the FBI, CIA, ATF. It's just they're like, like the more, especially with OKC, the more you dig into it, like it's fuck ups everywhere. The CIA, it looks like the CIA was involved. It looks like they may have been trying to do some sort of like domestic Gladio, essentially Northwoods type stuff. The fucking FBI was involved. Looks like they were pulling PatCon, which they're infiltrating right wing groups. You got the ATF with informants, and like, they're hearing shit about the bomb stuff, but not reporting it properly. Kind of just getting, it's a whole fuckery. And it's like there's like whether or not like it was they did it on purpose, there's still blood on their hands at the very least from like the cover up, and just the fact that in a lot of ways they kind of instigated it, whether they did it on purpose or not.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what the true intentions, or if what their true intentions were, or whether they did it or not, or whatever. I don't know. I have my own feelings on that, whether they did that or not. But I will say, that should show you that, like, we have all this talk nowadays of what lives matter. Black lives matter, white lives matter. Man, no lives matter. You know what I mean? Like, all those people that died in there, that was entirely preventable event. Entirely preventable. And these people died. Kids died. They had a daycare center in the building. I don't know how these people sleep at night.
Yeah,
it's beyond comprehension.
Yeah,
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, running a country, an empire, whatever you want to call it, you got to do some dirty stuff, I guess, I suppose. But this is for this to do that for what?
Yeah. I mean, my opinion is it was. I think there's probably more than one reason, but I think they probably did know it would take a huge amount of steam out of the militia movement of the time, and then they were able to characterize every person who cared about their gun rights or whatever or freedom as another Timothy McVeigh, which just a generic white supremacist who's willing to kill children. Like, so I mean, it was kind of the same thing we see to this day, where any white dude who has, I don't know, like, how many times did we hear the January 6th people referred to as like white supremacists, or alluded to it at least? You know what I mean? Like, so it's the same old thing. Like once you start recognizing these patterns, they just keep doing it. I mean, shit that they probably did. I don't know what they probably did with like the Malcolm X and them. Like, I know, like, hell, I mean, maybe it's a bit of a mischaracterization, but I remember growing up as a white kid, I always kind of thought Malcolm X was pretty racist, and I guess in some aspect he was beginning out. But now as I got older and looked into him more, I was kind of like, yeah, I guess he kind of was, but it wasn't like in an offensive way. So it's kind of like, I don't care. And then also he did kind of change his opinions on that later. Like, my opinion is like he was kind of like into socialism and shit. But aside from that, a lot of the stuff he was preaching was pretty fucking dope. It's all about like self-reliance as a community and shit like that. So I forgot what my point was tying those two together.
No, I mean, you're definitely right about Malcolm,
Yeah.
but he definitely changed after, he went to Mecca. So I wouldn't, and maybe in the beginning, maybe you would characterize him as racist, but towards, after his trip to Mecca, you definitely wouldn't. But you're right about, because, 80s and 90s, like 70s, 80s America, early 90s America was way different than today, and you're right. They had to do something about these militia groups because they was way bigger. You know what I mean? There was real militia groups. It's not like today where, Proud Boys and Antifa. Like it wasn't like it was. These guys were for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this was post Ruby Ridge and Waco. They were fucking ready to fucking pop off.
It was the real deal back then. So and I mean, I guess the government said, "Hey, man, we got to do something about it," and this was the plan or whatever. But I don't know. It's I just hope that we can give justice to Yaki. We can give justice to Trinidu. Especially Yaki. You know what I mean? Like this guy should be like a hero. Mm-hmm. He should be like, I don't know, a national holiday. I'll never forget. Listen, I used to work with this guy from Oklahoma, man, who was from Oklahoma. He lives in Pennsylvania. He's from Oklahoma. I sent him the Noble Lie link. I was like, what do you think of this? Never heard back from him. I think some people are afraid, to break their image of America. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they're afraid to get to look under the bed. Sometimes you throw stuff under the bed, and one day you gotta look clean under the bed, and it's a whole bunch of mess. When your kids they throw all these toys behind there, you don't ever want to go under there. But one day you gotta look under there. I think some people are afraid to look under the bed. You know what I mean? They just want to live their life of in bliss, I guess. I don't know. I was never raised that way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was the worst thing being black in America, but it was a different thing. You know what I mean?
You learn to distrust authority a little bit.
Yeah. I just think we need to make him a household name. Hey, I'm all for it. I need to do more. Gotta get his name out there. Because he like I said, he should be a hero. And the fact that he's not even his wiki page is like, you know what I mean?
It's a joke, yeah.
Yeah, I asked Chat GTV. I asked the Chat AI. I asked the Chat AI what happened to him, and it gave me the fluff answers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Whether he slit his wrist in his throat, and then walked a mile and a half, and then shot himself in the head.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and it should be scary to everybody. If they want to do that to somebody that, because, well, I say they. Well, I don't know who it is.
Who say? yeah. We know what we mean when we say they. That nebulous they. That those that rule above us in shadow, whoever they may be. Right. Maybe they might be prevalent in certain demographics, but it's obviously not uniform one way or the other. So, right. It is what it is. Which I guess we'll probably get into the Scott Adams soon. So it's kind of a good I guess there's common themes there. But I did want to I'm curious, what do you think? What is your gut feeling? Because I have my opinions, and there might even be more kooky than you think. I guess not even kooky, because I do actually have arguments to back it up, but I wouldn't say it's rock solid. What is your opinion of what was your read of what happened in OKC? Was it intentional? Was it just they fucked up and then they tried to cover it up, or what was your read of this situation? Obviously, I'm not saying this is 100% what happened, because I'm sure you would even admit that you might have some things off, because it's we're not operating off of all the facts, because if we were, then we wouldn't be speculating. So
Yeah, I mean, I think they milked what's the word? They groomed Timothy McVeigh. Now he's all pissed off about Ruby Ridge. Like, hey man, they kept grooming him, like grooming him. Like, hey, we gotta do something, and you gonna put this truck out there. You know what I'm saying? Um, Something else was in the building. You know, there's been scientific evidence like a fertilizer bomb isn't doing all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I lean towards that, but that's one of those ones I don't assert because it's like I'm not a demolitions expert, but I'm like, this don't seem right to me.
I can't find it, man. I wish I had saved
Yeah.
some stuff I've seen.
Yeah, there were eyewitness reports of people that I think like a week or so prior that saw what looked like people planting devices along the columns and shit.
Yeah,
So,
I think there was definitely bombs, and
yeah.
I think that's what. Yeah, I think there was people that said there were bombs being diffused afterwards.
Yeah, there were multiple times they called rescue efforts for the for bomb scares or whatever because they thought they were secondary bombs. So, and I guess the evidence of that never really stuck around. It was kind of like, oh, that was a false alarm, but a lot of people say that wasn't really the case. There were actual, legit other explosives there. So I don't. It is hard to say what Yiki saw. I mean, because it's like we weren't there. It could have been someone he saved that said something. It could have been something he saw himself. He did though make a statement that he thought it was weird that when he, as soon as he, like, even though he was like the first, if not one of the first people there was already ATF agents in full riot gear ready to go there. And he was like, there's no fucking way they could beat us here. Like this doesn't, and in full gear. Cause they like, he hauled ass there. Like it wasn't like he was like, oh, let's put on my full riot gear. Like he was probably just in, street clothes, or his like normal, beat cop type clothes,
Yeah, but I mean, as far as what I think, I'm one of those assume the worst type of people. I think the prevailing thing is, the militias in America were taking root, and they had to do something to demonize them. And lo and behold, they were able to groom somebody to and pin an event on him. You know what I mean? To take the steam out of these militia groups and everything else. And I don't know. I mean, that's my gut feeling. What happened? I don't think somebody gets suicided. Two people get suicided. If let's be for real here. If you ask anybody, you just look at the autopsies of both of those men. I don't think any rational person will say, "Well, yeah, they killed themselves." I don't think anybody would say that.
No.
It doesn't add up. So there had to be some type of foul play there. So why would you do? Why would you go to such lengths for the foul play on both? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but my gut feelings says they did that to stem the rising tide of white militias in America.
Yeah, my best good faith interpretation of it would probably be the theory that a lot of people put up that there was essentially munitions of some sort that were being stored improperly by the ATF in that building that essentially when it went off caused further explosive damage. Now that is not what I lean towards, I'll be honest, but that's my best good faith interpretation. And then I guess then you can from that point make the argument for why there was a cover up, because they didn't want to show that they were they're essentially not operating they were supposed to, cause far more damage, killed a whole bunch of people, et cetera, et cetera. I kind of doubt it would go to that extent. I lean towards that it was a full on, like me and Richard Booth, my expert that I did my over 10-hour series on OKC with. We were shooting the shit and we were like kind of like we came up with a good kind of I don't know if this would be a metaphor or what the fuck it is, but essentially the idea that it's like the CIA fucking Northwoods, or you can call it Gladio operation, if FBI PatCon operation, and an ATF informant operation, walk into a bar and the people serving the drinks are the white supremacists. So like that is like my read on it. I think it literally was like a combination of different agencies kind of stepping over each other and kind of I do think there was some at PatCon element where the idea was to infiltrate these these movements, which they did. I am of the opinion that I actually lean towards that McVeigh was sheep dipped. I'm not asserting that's the case because I know the sources for this aren't rock solid. The sources are McVeigh himself. McVeigh himself in transcripts to his family, and also I believe there's statements from fellow inmates, and also to his first defense team. He said shit that like, yeah, he was like essentially that he never actually really got the military. They put him in a black ops type thing. And judging by the story, and once you start digging in and finding other stuff, I'm like, that's not that like implausible, with the characters he was hanging around with and what's going on. So I think he was probably essentially the grunt of some sort of FBI PatCon operation. And I think what happened is the CIA kind of seized upon that FBI asset and tried to take it for their purposes for Gladio shit. Because then you have people like Roger Moore, who was fed to the gills. He had done he ended up being the star witness against McVeigh, but he actually was very clearly an associate with McVeigh. They were regularly on the fucking gun show circuit. He has an extensive ties to the CIA, doing all sorts of weird operations for them, all sorts of weird little tales of people saying, oh, he taught this CIA class, that CIA class, a lot of shit. He even was on record saying he was upset that they kept using the name Roger Moore because of the fact that he used a pseudonym. So like he's like, you guys are blowing up my spot type shit. Yeah, and then Andreas Strassmeyer, who was a German national that was in the military, trained in fucking counter recon in the German military. He did a small stint where he was helping out the IDF, looked like some, Israeli Defense Force, looked like some sort of fucking cross training type thing, maybe like kind of working together. And then he magically shows up in the United States. The first person he lives with is David Petrusky, I think. Petrusky, I know that for a fact, who was a former CIA agent, quote unquote former, who worked on an operation called Operation Phoenix, which is essentially was Northwoods, but in Vietnam. And he had made statements before about kind of wanting to do the same thing, in the future, kind of get the gang back together type thing. And lo and behold, Strassmeyer ends up with him. Then Strassmeyer moves to this other guy, Dave Holloway, in Texas, and this guy has a militia there. He ends up actually, the Holloway guy's also a CIA agent, or former, quote unquote, and that Holloway guy was running a militia. Strassmeyer got kicked out of that militia because everyone in the militia thought he was a provocateur. And then he ended up in Elohim City, which is where all the like McVeigh and all that, and was spotted with McVeigh multiple times. So, the kind of crowd he was running with, they glowed like the sun. So, if you understand the glowy terminology. So, yeah, it's I really think there's some CIA shit going on there. And then there also is Carol Howe, which is an FBI informant or an ATF informant who I believe kind of got close to Strassmeyer and was saying shit to the ATF, her like agents, kind of like, hey, I think they're going to do some shit. And then kind of fucking got skirted off, kind of like, oh, that's nice. So, and that's, you said before the ATFs didn't show up that day. I think they had an informant that was letting them know what was going on. And I think likely I think at one point the ATF was planning on arresting Strassmeyer or something like that, if I remember correctly. And the FBI stepped in. And, it's obviously hush hush what was happened. And then all of a sudden they called it off and they didn't. So, it's weird how this shit works. I mean, that's my read. It's pretty complicated. I've done a lot of digging into this. That's just kind of my rough read on the shit I've heard. But it's like, it's not that crazy once you understand the sources and kind of, start recognizing the patterns and the connections. I mean, you feel kind of schizo, like you're reading the tea leaves. But you're like, no, this makes sense, man. This makes sense. You feel crazy, but you're like, I don't know. The documents are here, and this is what they say.
Yeah, you mentioned the Phoenix program. I just listened to audiobook, the Phoenix program, America's Use of Terror in Vietnam, and a lot of times they went out and did work, did hits,
Mm-hmm.
and it did hits to blame the Viet Cong.
Yep.
I mean, they would do it. You know what I mean? And just so they could blame the Viet Cong, and damn, I didn't know a Phoenix program guy was.
Yeah. No, that's one of the wild parts. You're like, I mean, obviously you can't draw too much of a conclusion from that, but you're like, all right, that's pretty weird that you guys specialize in like a strategy of tension type thing where you enrage a populace through acts of terrorism, and then lo and behold, one of your pupils kind of gets involved in a big old act of terrorism. So kind of weird,
Yeah.
very, very, very odd connections to be found there. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, and then I did mention the sheep tip aspect with McVeigh. That part always was kind of weird to me because he also did too. It wasn't until like I believe around the time Jolly West ended up showing up over the MK Ultra guy showed up around McVeigh, then all of a sudden he got with the official narrative, at least to official people. There were also reports where he would say to fellow inmates shit like, I'm going to get out of here, right? Like they're not going to let me die. Like he still was under the impression. I mean, I think he did get killed. There was a lot of conspiracy theories that like, oh, they got him out of there for being a good soldier. But I do think they're probably like, we got you, bud, and then they just kind of let his ass fry.
Yeah, because he thought he was in the army till the day he died. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I think he put on his thing, occupation, U.S. Army. Yep. You know what I mean? So like he thought he was in the whole time, and I think he told family members he was in the whole time, right?
Yep. Yeah. There's literally, and it isn't like weird shit where they're reporting it to people. It was the FBI had them tapped, their wires tapped. And like, I don't know how we ended up getting the documents. Maybe this is one of the things that came through Jesse, but it's not, somehow we got a hold of the documents. And yeah, there's literally transcripts of them having conversations about how he's still in and shit. And, because he told his family that like, no, because his whole story was he went to go train for special forces, and then the official story is he hurt his foot when he was in Desert Storm, and then he wasn't able to make it through special forces training. But according to what he told friends and family and his first defense team and inmates while he was in, is that no, that wasn't the case. He actually got sent to go do covert work, and it was one of the points I frequently bring up is because this is shit he also I believe was telling the cops when he got taken in initially. Is one of the points I bring up is you got to remember this is the mid 90s, and the stuff he was describing to them was shit like, oh yeah, they were going to have me help out like the feds with drug smuggling operations for funds. And if to say that in the mid 90s, like if someone got busted today and some crazy person and they started saying shit like that, you're like, there's a crazy person, because it's like they're just saying shit that's out there. Because today in 2023, fucking like most people or anyone in the know knows that the feds have done drug smuggling operations for off the books funds. It's just like a known thing. In the mid 90s, that wasn't really a known thing. So it's weird for someone to be singing like that, saying that kind of shit. He was also kind of alluding to like PatCon type stuff, which is, what I mentioned before. So it is just like weird. You'd be describing these things that haven't really become public knowledge yet. So, and like, this is the stuff you're saying. And then like probably something like a decade later that becomes public knowledge. You're like, oh, well, that was weird. He said that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I know he could have just been crazy. He could have been a compulsive liar. I don't know. But it always struck me as way too weird,
Yeah. I mean, he was, you're right about they had some guy visit him, was a psychiatrist or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He might have been one of those MK Ultra. That's another thing, I find interesting. I read another book about who was the guy? The CIA CIA guy.
Maybe it's Jolly West.
Who's the guy that has the airport named after him?
Yeah, right.
Dulles, right? Dulles?
That sounds right. Yeah, Dulles. Yeah, he was during JFK shit, I believe. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Like there was one of these audiobooks I read that they were trying to find the magic drug to help them brainwash people and stuff like that, and all about the MK Ultra program and stuff like that, and I'm one of those guys that like that they figured it out. I swear to you, I'll tell anybody like they figured it out. Like I find it a hard time believing that they didn't figure it out.
I mean, I guess for me, it depends what you mean by that. Like, I think because I've read a decent amount of MK Ultra, and it seems to be my impression is their practical results seem to be a far way away from what their intended results were, but they still were like things they could operate off of. So like, for example, I think the whole, if you read the book Chaos by Tom O'Neill, I think the whole Marilyn Manson thing was essentially an offshoot of the MK Ultra stuff, but I think it was more like, hey, if we get people to do this or that, like it was more like manipulate. It wasn't like this, like what you imagine, in my opinion, is like what you see in movies, like MK Ultra. We can give you a trigger word, and now you're our sleeper agent. I think it's more along the lines of we find these crazy kids, we push the right buttons, and we get them to produce the
Right.
desired results that we want. You know what I mean? Like whether that's this guy that's kind of a crazy hippy dippy guy that is also open to violence and you can manipulate and is infiltrating Hollywood, which is what Manson was kind of doing. Like, and you kind of control him from the outside. You get him to essentially become this fed trap where like young fucking aspiring artists kind of end up partying with this group and shit, like because he was kind of mixing up with Hollywood. So like I don't think it's as straightforward. I think it's just more they learned to manipulate crazies is what it came down to.
Well, definitely, you have to have something to work with. Like, it's probably not going to work with everybody, but I think they found a certain archetype of humans, psychological profile that they can really manipulate. Like, for example, I'll go to my grave believing this. The what the fuck was his name? What was the DC sniper?
Oh yeah, I don't know his name, but I know. Yeah,
it was it was Malvo and Muhammad.
Yeah,
John Lee Malvo, and I forget the Muhammad's first name. I
swear, the one where one of them had a brain tumor or some shit, or
one
was it a different
one they executed. The other guy, I think they let. I think there might be the young kid that I think they're trying to let him out or something, or he's about to be let out. I think the older guy was MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember, like before they got him, right? Like, they remember, I don't know if you're old, you might not have been old enough to remember this, but like they had these press conferences, right? And before the press conference before they caught him, and the sheriff got up there and said, hey, he was like, he was acting like he was talking to the sniper. He's like, I understand you want me to read this statement. And he read this weird ass fucking statement, right? Like, you got me caught like it was like, like the stereotypical Hollywood trigger words. Days later, he got caught. Got caught sleeping in a goddamn rest stop. All his IDs was out on the fucking on the dashboard. You know what I mean? Like, I will go to my grave thinking, that was the DC sniper. That was an example of NK Ultra. And there's another one. And, I kind of think Hinckley was the same thing. I just think they figured out, but with certain people, they in drugs and things of that nature, they figured out how to manipulate people to do certain things if they have enough time.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you see all the time. What was it, the Uvalde or one of the school shootings? Or there was a few shootings, recently where if you really dug into it, you found weird stuff where they'd be in like chat groups, and there was these people alluding to like it looked like they were talking to people who were clearly provocateurs. Like I do think they're getting hip with. I think we're in this weird time where they're following a lot of the same playbooks, but with different tech. So now we're in this world now where I still think they are taking the lessons they learned from like stuff like MK Ultra and applying it in our modern day, to where it's not like something like Charles Manson, where it's like you actually have to physically be in a space with him, like because he actually went through MK Ultra type trials while he was in prison, and like that was a big thing of it. Like, is he agreed to those trials, and I don't remember the details of what all they did to him. But whereas nowadays you don't really need that. You can just find people who kind of fit the profile you're looking for on this magical thing called the internet that allows you to kind of like siphon out for what you're looking for, and then you just kind of play the strings just right, like it's a like a musical instrument, and kind of like play off his crazy and get him to do what you want him to do. And it's like, oh, you need a gun? I know a place you can get one. Stuff like that. I mean, MK Ultra is a weird one once you start digging. I mean, like Jack Ruby. God, who else? There's a lot of weird shit in connection with MK Ultra. Like it goes deep. Like the MK Ultra one, it's very, very weird. How this shit pops up frequently. Like Ted Kaczynski was an MK Ultra guy. Like, I'm not saying everything he did was a complete op. I think maybe he probably just went a little bit crazy and got all eccentric from whatever the fuck they did to him, but gave us one of the best manifestos there ever was. But
Yeah, that was that's eye opening. He was right about a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's wild. I don't know where the fuck he decided let's blow shit up, but I mean, doesn't really make sense with his manifesto. But yeah, I think I want to cover one more thing we got out of here. I kind of alluded to the Malcolm X shit earlier. I really feel like the Hotep Nation. It reminds me a lot of like the kind of the Malcolm X move, where it was a lot about like community, self-reliance, stuff like that. And so I find it interesting with the recent Scott Adams thing. I kind of would like to kind of get the Hotep perspective generally on that, because I mean I will say it was hilarious. I mean it's hard not to watch that and laugh. I mean, should I watch the clip of Hotep Jesus watching it laughing, because it's just so goddamn funny. But I think there's something to be said for some of the things he said in there. I don't know if maybe you might agree to some extent, maybe disagree to others, but there's something to it. I mean, I'm not saying don't associate with black people at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, I guess if you're interacting as a collective, I also do think it's kind of gay to be like, I don't know, in 2023, be hard trumping for black rights, whatever the hell that even means. Like, what does that mean? I mean? Like, I don't know what that means. I guess it depends what you're talking about. If you can provide me a specific instance, but it's just kind of pathetic at this point. So I don't know, I guess I'll let you go. Get your thoughts. I don't know, maybe if you thought it was funny too.
As far as trumpeting for black rights or anything like that, I mean, a lot of people do that virtual signal.
Yes.
I live in this kind of liberal town, and you see these Black Lives Matter signs in the front lawns and stuff like that. No black people live there. And you have to see a black person. I mean, I'm sure there is, but around like the suburbia, whatever, I've yet to see a black family put out a Black Lives Matter. Oh, maybe one, but the majority of people that do that are not black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a trendy thing to do.
Yeah.
There's like people champion all types of sexual rights, gender rights. Black is just another one people like will virtual signal for, because it makes you. I kind of feel like people, instead of going outside and touching grass and helping people, maybe go serve in a food line, go to work in a soup kitchen, help some people out, donate some real money to like help people out with your physical presence. Some people will virtual signal it, and feel like they've become a better person. I think it's a bigger thing than just, trying to, virtual signaling for black folks or any type of folks. It's a bigger phenomena of Americans. I think we've kind of lost our way in, actually trying to help people instead of, we want to look like we're helping people instead of actually doing it. Now, as far as the Scott thing, I don't know, man. I mean, like, to be honest, most people live amongst people that they're similar to you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not like, be honest, like how many minorities or blacks or whatever you want to say does Scott Adams live around or has ever lived around? He's not even the person to say it. I kind of think, and a bigger thing, there's been a large push on the internet about these racial tensions and shit like that. There's all these guys are acting like agents and shit like that. They're acting like this is the fucking 60s or some shit like that. Like, I find it insulting. It's not even the 80s.
Yeah.
It's not even the 80s.
Dude, I don't mean to throw off your rant, but I had someone today. I tweeted that I'm going on Part of the Problem with Dave Smith to talk about the OKC stuff, and I kind of put like a Terrence Egan didn't kill himself, Kenneth Trinidu didn't kill himself at the bottom, and someone quote tweeted and was like, and found a picture from TopLobsta's fucking site, and they put a picture of, because we made a Yiki t-shirt, and they put a picture of that side by side to, I don't know if you ever watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like, you know how it'll be like the gang does this, the gang does that, but we have this other show, Tower Gang, and someone put like in one of those shirts he made was the gang says the N-word. It's a joke. It's an offensive comedy show, so it's just like a joke, kind of like haha, they said it. And they're like, oh my god, he'd be rolling over in his grave if he saw that, or you know, selling that with his. It's like obviously they're implying sort of like commie shit, you know, to be like that some of the stuff they said kind of like, oh, you're making money off of him. It's like, one, I don't make a dime off that. That's all TopLobsta. But it's like, two, that what do you want us to give them up for free? Like, what? What at cost? Because we could be giving out for cost for all you know. Like, you don't know what the fucking cost is to put him out. But I mean, they're not. He is making profit. I have no qualms of that. But I just thought it was funny, kind of like the race point you're getting at. They're like, for one, the very point those two things are put together would think the very juxtaposition would undermine the racism point you're making. Like, oh, you're trying to imply I'm racist, where I'm literally trying to bring awareness to this guy, and then like, oh, because they made a silly joke on another shirt from a different show that's not even the same show. Like, he has a ton of different shows on this thing, but it's like, I don't know, I just thought it was funny. I guess it kind of tied into that. It's kind of pissed me off, but you know, it's blocked real quick and moved on.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, like it's not even the 80s. It's not even the 90s, you know.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in Exton, Pennsylvania, everybody knows. But like there was only like 3 black families in the whole neighborhood, like maybe 50 or 60 some houses, right? I go on a school bus every day. I got called every word in the book. Every word in the book. Now you want to, and I'm just going from the 80s. And we're going to compare it to like what's happening now. Now, I will agree that you know the mass media and the elites are turning the heat up on white folks. Well, we don't have anything to do with that. Like I think people like when Scott makes these comments, and I see other people jump on board. Like this is part of the machine. Like they kind of want this. They want to stir up racial tensions for whatever reason. I don't know. But this is all artificial. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you get off the internet, it's not really like that. You know, is crime escalated? Sure, it has. Sure, it has. They let everybody out. They don't give them bails. Like I mean, like when they don't give them bails. They don't ask for bail. You could go, yeah, y'all can come back when the trial's ready. You know, this is a grand design here. You know, and I mean, it's just like, and yeah, this to see people taking and run with it, like, but I mean, that's how it is in America. People are going to grift off everything, anything and everything. But you know, for people to suggest that there's some real racial tension here or something like that, it's like, come on, be for real. It's not like I said, man. Like the difference from the 80s and 90s to now is like. It's a big difference. And it helped me compare if you want to even go back further to 60s and shit like that. You know, so it's not like these jokers are just out here robbing people because they're white.
Yeah.
They'll rob me. You know what I mean? They'll rob anybody. You know, I want them lock them the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? That's the fucking the answer. But to say, oh, we got to like the end. Let me go to the poll. Now we're believing polls now with like, and I've said this on Hotep's Been Told You, man. Like if you ask, black folks really love white folks. You know what I mean? It's not like the percentage that would say what was the question was white is it okay to be white? Maybe that 20% was maybe correct. That said the no. But the people that said I don't know is like they're going off of there's been these poll 4chan activities where they put up, oh, it's okay to be white. They post it all over like universities and stuff like that. And then the media comes out and say it's negative. Then they tie it into saying, it's anti-Semite or something. There was anti-Semitic drawings underneath. So when you tie all that together, when people see that on a poll, they're gonna be like, I don't know, man, because in the back of their mind, they're thinking of something else that tying together with that. But as far as relationship with white folks, come on, man, it's not even. Most Black Americans is all right with white folks.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just a white guy. Maybe I just don't care if someone doesn't like me. I don't know. I guess at the same point, it's also like, I don't know, if someone was racist against me for being white, I'd be like, all right, then we'll fuck him.
I never took it like that. If somebody doesn't like me for being black, that's their problem, not mine. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's their loss. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's like, people I have to talk to.
I don't fucking need you. Like, okay, I'll keep it moving. I don't know. It is weird. It comes from this weird place of insecurity. People that I don't really either way, whether they're like getting offended by it or whether they're like stumping for it in like support of. Because I mean, I think there is some truth, some stuff Scott Adams is saying, like, say for example, with like, oh, it never helps you to like really try to fight for them, is what he's saying. It's like, okay, like, yeah, I guess in the sense of like, if you're a large influencer on social media and you're trying to be this white knight for black people, yeah, you're putting yourself in this weird, cucked out position of like insecurity and weakness. So like, yeah, people are gonna pounce on that. Like, it just comes off as just kind of pathetic, really. Like, if you're just like, I don't know, it's just weird. But like, and yeah, and in some of the points he's making, like, obviously there is higher crime rates among areas with higher African American populations. But now, can you deduce from that it's because they're African American? I don't. It's kind of hard to separate out the stats. I kind of doubt that. I mean, every relationship I've ever had with a black individual has been pretty okay my whole life. So I don't know. I mean, I think when you evaluate things by collectives, I mean, if you looked at it by, when you're talking about areas that are going to be mostly black, it's probably going to be mostly poverty. And so is that is that a poverty issue or is it a black issue? I mean, I don't know. And even if it is because of their black, it's like, okay, what are you making a point? There's a genetic propensity for black people to be more likely to do that. I'm like, even still, it's kind of like, okay, but it still matters on the individual. Because like, I doubt there's a genetic propensity, but maybe there is. I don't fucking know. What does it matter? Like, I don't know. I guess like I could kind of understand what he's getting at, but it was like kind of blown up. It's mostly just funny. But I guess there is some like interesting points to be extracted from it. It was very much I don't even understand the point of it. Like, it was a very weird rant. It was like intentionally provocative, but I don't know, made for good internet content. I guess it was funny. I'll give it that much. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting points, I think, though, to think about. But I guess I liked how it broke a lot of people's brains. The people that immediately got offended, the people that I knew I could rock with, were the ones who just like kind of laughed or didn't care. You're like, who gives a fuck what Scott Adams says?
Like, and I think he said that. He was like, after he said that, the people that wanted to cancel him were the left, white Democrats. And the people that I wanted to talk to were black people. Like, and I kind of think he just did it. He wanted to pull a Kanye and wanted to go out with a blaze, do his own thing on locals or whatever. He's probably tired of, he wanted to do, he's got enough more money than whatever.
Tired of drawing Dilbert.
Yeah, he's doing this for decades.
Yeah.
He doesn't need any money, really. He doesn't need to work. Like, he just got fed up and wanted to do his own thing for once, I guess. It's like, I kind of feel like he just pulled a Kanye.
Yeah, it did kind of feel intentionally provocative. But I don't know. Either way, I enjoyed it. And it is one of those like weird moments where it is enlightening, where you're like, I can kind of see how people are. Like, if everyone immediately freaks out and is freaking out about racism or this, that, and you're like, who cares? Like, I don't know. Kind of go touch grass or find something else interesting to be upset about. I don't know. This is just like, who gives a fuck? But yeah, I think we're at a good time. I don't want to respect your time. Me and you both got kids and shit. Probably got shit to do. It's a little bit late in the night. If you want to go ahead and drop your plugs, we'll go ahead out of here. It was fun having you on here.
First off, where do I get I need to get one of them Yankee shirts, man.
TopLobsta.com.
TopLobsta.com. Okay.
Yeah. He's like I said, he's also you guys' thumbnail guy too.
Okay.
So
You can just follow me, Uncle Hotep, on everything. Facebook, Twitter. I'm usually on Twitter, Instagram. Every Thursday night we do Hotep's Been Told You podcast. 8 o'clock on Hotep Jesus' channel. Like I said, we have over, I don't know, close to 250 episodes. So go check us out. We do Hotep Con every year. I do a show on my YouTube on Uncle Hotep. So follow me there as well. Every Sunday, 8:30, Uncle Hotep Factor. It's just, I don't know. We do anything. I talk about a lot of things, but thanks for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. I just hope I can do my part. Maybe we can get Yankee a little bit more etched in the American psyche or subconscious or whatever you want to call it. But
yep.
I think that should be a goal of ours because I think he deserves to go in the history books. And,
yeah, agree.
He needs a different entry in the history books. That's his entry right now.
Yeah, I've already called my Babe Ruth. Next time I get on some sort of large platform, I'm gonna wear probably a Kenneth Trinidu didn't kill himself shirt. Probably it's a move because I'm gonna push both. Because my point is, I want to get people to like dig into the deeper story, and I think these characters are the perfect way to get you in there. Because people start once you start seeing these like, clearly not suicides that are associated to a larger plot, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And one, it's like, okay, well, this is weird. If I was able to get Kenneth Trinidu in the fucking, get that moving too, then that's what people are gonna be like, if someone big picks that up, they're gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck? So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I have no idea if I had anything to do with CNN, doing that Yiki story less than a month after I brought up Yiki on Timcast, but I don't know, if so, cool. I'm gonna try to make the same thing happen for Trinidu, and I think by doing that, that also will kind of push forth Yiki's name even more too. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate your help with that. That's I do think that's important. But yeah, this is a No Way Jose show. Find me on YouTube, all major art packages, Odyssey as well. If you want to give me money, patreon.com/No Way Jose 2020. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Tower Gang Jose. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And with that, we are out. Appreciate it, man.